Yeah, take your time, Ross. I'm in no hurry.
I got to go deal with
I
the
got
guys
plenty of
who are
time.
right out front right
All
now.
night.
Charlie's going to get set up in some chat so he can see what's going on. And I'm going to let these guys in. I'll be right back. And you can watch Pool Cam, which I think is hysterical. And it's on mute. All right. Bluetooth. Bluetooth. Only way to go.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I got to load up YouTube here just to see what's going on in the chat. I'm on the StreamYards app, and all I see is I see Ross. I see the 3 cameras, but I don't see YouTube. So I got to load up another device. In this case, it's my computer here to see what's going on. So it's like we got device. Okay, there we go. 17, 18 in the chat. Okay, we got Robert V. How's it going, Robert? OG Billy. Something wrong. Viking Prepper. Pando. Many familiar faces here. Kelly Caldwell. Hey, big ups, guys. The chat's growing. So yeah, basically this is Ross and Rayong's channel. He's doing some videos and live streams. He's got a really nice home I visited when I was in Thailand last time I was there. It's out in the country, kind of out in the jungle, and he's got a lot of dogs. Like I think he has like around 20 dogs. That's why I hear so many dogs barking. But it's a very nice place. Plus, he also has a resort down the street. I stayed at the resort. I didn't stay at his house, but I visited his house. That's where you see the pool cam there. That's his house, and yeah, it's a nice place. And yeah, he's a very successful expat in Thailand. He's done very well for himself in Thailand. We've hung out a lot together on my Thailand streams. I met him in Sexy Bar back 4 years ago. He had actually never been to Pattaya. It was like one of his first times to Pattaya because he's been happily married for many years. But he was getting into the streams and stuff, so he came and visited back 4 years ago, and I've streamed with him many times since then. Even recently, we did a visa run together. He drove me to Cambodia when I had to do the visa run, dropped me off at the border, and he went back, drove back home. That's Ross and Rayong. Big ups to Ross. If you don't know who he is, I know not everybody knows who Ross is. You might not have caught my streams when he was there. So he's going to be coming back. He's attending to something, but when he comes back, he'll be, I guess, asking me a bunch of questions and it's kind of, doing like a interview kind of conversation style show. There he is. I was just kind of giving them some background about you a little bit for the new people on your channel.
My dogs are going crazy. The swimming pool. All right. And my beautiful house. All right, let's see what I missed. Charlie, you're there. I'm here. Who let the dogs out? I have 15 dogs here. My next door neighbor, she has 10. And next door to them have 8. And on the other side, they have 5. And then down the road, they've got like 12. I'm the only one who keeps, my sister-in-law and myself are the only one to keep our dogs on property. Yes. Everybody else, they just let them run everywhere.
Good luck walking down the street in the middle of the night.
I can't even walk around here. I mean, if I walk around here during the day, I'm just not going to walk down to the main road. I've got to carry a stick with me. Not that their dogs are aggressive. They are just, well, aggressive, but they don't bite.
Oh, in the middle of the night, they will. Especially there's nobody coming and going.
What's really funny is at nighttime, like you get it like around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you'll hear the dogs down further away. They'll start howling, not barking, howling. Then a little bit further, then they stop. The next one starts howling. Then they come to my house, they start howling. Then as soon as they get to my sister-in-law, they start howling. But mine stop. It's kind of like a wave of howling. And my wife refers to that as ghost walking. Is that no, that's just ghost walking past, and the dogs see the ghost in their house.
Oh yeah, ghosts. Thais believe in ghosts.
Thai people and ghosts, exactly.
That's what they have all the spirit houses for, I guess, is to like please the spirits. They offer them like sodas and snacks and.
Oh yeah, there's one right there. When you were out here, we passed one on the main road. Right before you come to Bonpei, there's one, and you will see it. Side of the road, there's tons of lays on it. People are putting broken Buddha houses over there. Broken Buddha statues, anything like that, they've just put over there. Yeah, people are serious about their ghost out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many people we have? 22 watching. Oh, Charlie, you're not as big a magnet as I thought you were.
Not,
What's the
not as
chat
what?
now?
Oh yeah, not as big man. I gave you a shout out on the. Well, it's live streaming's a tricky thing, but you got to kind of build it like bricks. This is going to be one brick
Yeah,
in the wall. Get it going.
yeah. You say,
Get a few new subscribers.
that was the goal. I am almost at 600.
This time right
All
now for a
organic.
stream, it can be kind of rough because I think a lot of the Europeans and stuff are not.
Sleep.
Yeah, they're asleep right now. It's
Yeah.
like 4 in the
It's
morning
like
or
4
something.
o'clock in the morning for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realize that, but that's the problem. You got to pick that right time. And like you pick noon, yeah, you can get the European, but you're 9 o'clock West Coast time and midnight East Coast time.
Yeah. There's Australia too, which is pretty big. There's no perfect time, I guess.
It's like when I call my mom. My mom still, after almost 9 years living here, she still can't. What time is it there again? I'm like, Mom, here are 2 clocks. I bought her this, but I was out there this past year.
Yeah.
Thailand time. It never changes, Mom. You can change your clock, but mine always says the right time, and it's in digital, 24-hour time, so she can't screw it up. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that one. That was my neighbor's house. My sister-in-law.
Oh yeah.
They constantly fight. All my dogs get along. Hers, that's because she doesn't feed them as well as I feed mine. Mine are always fat.
Well, one thing that makes the time confusing is I think we got like daylight savings time, but I don't know if Thailand does. So there's sometimes it's like 12 hours, sometimes we're like 1 hour ahead or behind. So that kind of makes it confusing.
Thailand doesn't do daylight savings time.
Yeah.
And so when I have people who call me from America, they're not saying, "What time is it?" I'm like, "What time is it where you are?"
We got Viking Prepper. He's from Norway.
Yeah. East Coast is the same time. It just changed the A to a P or a P to an A, and we got it figured out.
Yeah. Generally, it's the opposite time.
Yeah. So how is the planning of your walking? Are you doing a lot of daily walks right now?
Right now, I'm mostly doing weightlifting. We had a real bad cold snap. It was down to like 5 degrees Fahrenheit and stuff in America, this part of America for a week. So I'm gonna get to doing some hiking before the trip, but I'm doing a lot of like calf raises, hamstring stuff, ab workouts, all that.
You ever thought about get on Craigslist and finding yourself a used what are the things called? Things to walk. Treadmill. Or you can put it like on a treadmill incline where you can just sit there and just do some serious walking on an incline for a few hours every day. That way it builds up your walking legs. Because it's the different muscles used for walking as it is for lifting.
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely. I feel like I'm pretty in shape, but yeah, I got to do some long walks. I'll be doing some long walks before the trail, and then combined with weightlifting.
Yeah, I would have thought the treadmill, to put it like on an 8 or 9 degree incline, would be great for strengthening your legs for the walking. And even though you're just staying in place, you could just pop a book up there, read, and keep.
I got too many boxes of worthless cars to fit a treadmill in here. It's a tight squeeze.
That is a question somebody was asking. What is in all those boxes? Are they model cars or just parts to cars?
They're leftover Magic the Gathering cards. It's just a card game.
Oh, cards.
They can be valuable, but they're very rare ones. But what I have is just junk, pretty much. So leftover junk.
Can't you just sell those in bulk to somebody who wants to start a
Magic Gathering? That's how you sell them in bulk. Maybe you could get like that. I don't know, maybe a couple grand, all of it. Taking out I got a little pile of some good stuff. But yeah, it's mostly junk.
Somebody put in here the Monder packs. So basically, they're a bunch of old fat cards with bald heads.
Yeah. Like people have a bunch of baseball cards lying around, back in the 80s or something. Most of those would all be junk. There might be like one good card in there.
I'll show you what I got. When I was back in America, I grabbed these from my uncle. I have no idea if they're valuable or not. And if somebody else knows, they can tell me. He collected NASCAR cards. So I have these. I only have this many of them. But I have these. Let's see, where's my camera? Here it is.
Oh, NASCAR. NASCAR. Is that NASCAR?
NASCAR.
You
So
said?
here's NASCAR. So here is
I never
a
even heard of them. Yeah,
Richard Petty. You know who Richard Petty is?
yeah. I don't know
Pro
much
Set
about
Racing.
NASCAR. What year they come
NASCAR.
from?
I don't really know. They're called Pro Set.
I would guess to
And
say they're not worth anything, but you never know. Maybe I could be wrong.
they're great. Bobby Allison. I mean, some of these people I know who they are. Junior Johnson. Oh, part Junior Johnson's crew. But there's these are the Winston Cup cards. But I have these cards that I grab from him. I have no idea if they're even valuable or not. But I thought they were. I just like NASCAR. Oh, 1994 J.R. Marks Incorporated is the
94.
copyright on
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there may be somebody out there that collects them if they're rare, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
If
If I had
anybody's ever seen these,
bet on, I would bet they're not worth anything. We never know. Maybe there's $1,000
know.
card in there. You never know
There's
with
the Jeff
collectibles.
Gordon.
One
I have
man's
the Jeff
trash is
Gordon.
another man's treasure, as they say.
I know there were some Dale Earnhardts in here. I remember seeing that. And this one here, the one female car racer from 1998. Yeah. Who knows if they're worth anything? I couldn't find much research on them. I don't know where. And my uncle's too old to even know where he got it from.
That could be a good thing.
Some of these,
Yeah, I never even heard of them. I've been in and out of cards for years.
so
I used to even collect baseball and basketball cards before I did Magic when I was a teenager.
these are all from 91.
Even then, I never even heard of them. I was really into it.
I've never collected cards where he had them. Pro Set Racing. I just thought they were really cool. I'm like, hey, maybe these are valuable. He had all these mint coin sets. He thought they were going to be really valuable from 1770, the bicentennial year.
Yeah,
so the 1970 mint coins.
Six.
And so I had him, took him around and have him appraised. We had a dollar coin, 50-cent, quarter, dime, nickel. And I'm like, hey, how much are these things worth? He goes, face value.
Face value, yeah.
Face value. He
says,
they're not rare at all. They sell these, even in the set, it's just face value. There's no value in these things. I'm like, really? Yeah. Nobody, you know how many they sold of these things? And people all thought they were going to be collectible. And I'm like, what about this one? I've got an Eisenhower silver dollar. And I'm like, how much is this worth? He goes, yeah, read it. It's not silver. I'm like, he's showing me the mix of what it is. And I'm like, 65% silver, 35% other.
Yeah, the collectible market's tricky in anything. It's extreme rarity that really drives the value. And the extreme rarity means that you just don't see it. You don't come across it. Whoever does have it is hoarding it, owns it, If something's valuable. Some rich person, probably. Your chat's slowly growing. You're up to 30 now, which is very respectable.
I was just moving my phone over to see. We're at 30 now. Yeah, well, all week I've been live streaming my pool build, and then at the end of it, downloading it, turning it into a time lapse, so it could turn 8 hours into a 10-minute video.
Yeah.
And yesterday was really funny because 2 days ago they had the backhoe out here. They dug.
Oh, all right. I saw that time lapse. You said how many hours was that?
Yesterday's was 8 hours.
Oh, that's 8 hours into 10 minutes. Awesome.
Yeah, you just bring it up to 40 times the speed, and it breaks it down real easily. But yeah, it was cool. Really funny because they brought the backhoe out here, they measured, and they started digging. And then they went to go put the pull in, and it was about this too tight. So they had to start digging again and to cut out like 6 inches on both sides to get the pull to slide in, because they measured for the pull. They did not measure for the support beams outside of the pull, because the fiberglass pull that has these support beams all around it. So the 6 inches of support on each side, they forgot to measure for. So they're scraping away at it, and they're all digging in there while the pull is just spinning over their head the whole time. And I'm thinking, hey, look at it, they got shade.
I bet you whatever you're doing there, it costs you a tiny, I don't want to say tiny, but a fraction of what it costs in America.
Under $13,000, I will be all in for the pool.
Yeah, I don't know how much it costs in America, but yeah, I know it's be a lot cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah, under $500,000 to get the pool put in and to build the deck that I'm going to be adding to it afterwards. So I've got
$500,000 bot, which is like $16,000.
Not even, no. You see the bot today? 35,
15.
60 something?
How much is the bot?
35,
36.
66,
Oh yeah,
35, 66 today. Yesterday got up to 85, 35, 85.
I think
And
it's
that's,
got to get to 40 in a few months.
I don't believe that's going to
Few months to
happen.
summer.
I think it might get back to 38. I
Because
can't ever imagine even
it,
40.
it was 38 back in October, November last year, and every
Yeah.
time high season comes around, the bot gains strength. But I think this
Yep.
high season wasn't as strong as they thought it would be, so it's even going to get weaker. Whereas last year it got to 38, I think this year it's going to get to 40 before the next high season comes in. That's just I'm just speculating. Who knows?
I would hope so. I mean, I love when the bot goes up because I have money to change every month.
Oh,
But
you
man,
want a strong bot? I want a weak bot or at
I
odds.
want a strong dollar. Yeah.
Oh yeah, me
And the
too. I want a
economy
strong
is
dollar too.
really
Yeah.
good. I mean, the American economy seems really good right now, where Thailand is really hurting. Outside of Pattaya, Bangkok, Phuket, the rest of Thailand is really hurting for tourism altogether. Because I've talked to some other friends who live in other parts of the country,
Yeah.
and even Chiang Mai says it doesn't have nearly the tourism they used to have. Even during the wintertime when they had all the people go up to the north to see the fog on the mountain,
Yeah.
it was really down this year as well.
We were talking about that
Thai
on
people are
the Thai economy struggling a little bit. Tourism's down. The Chinese didn't come back to Thailand. Russians got a war going on. They're not coming in the numbers as they were, so they just don't have the numbers that they had 5 years ago. The tourism numbers.
If you want to increase the tourism here, instead of giving people a 30-day, give them a 90-day with a 30-day extension.
Yeah,
So
they were talking about
up
doing
to
that.
4 months.
I think they said just for Canadians and United States Americans,
I
which
think
would be
they should
fine
just
by
do it for
me.
all the wealthy.
They got to do maybe
Do it for all
more
the
than
wealthy
that.
countries.
They take a lot of baby steps,
And it allowed you to stay
policy.
for longer. If stay 9 months as opposed to only 6 months.
Yeah,
Because there are some people who are young.
I was reading an article by it was something that polls expats around the world, 12,000 of them, and they rated the best countries for expats around the world based on the results of these people they polled, which is 12,000 people. That's a lot. Thailand ranked 6 in the top 10, and Mexico is number 1. Now, Mexico, they give you 6 months when you enter, and yeah, it's very easy. So, Mexico scored number 1 in that poll. Thailand was number 6.
There are only really a few countries that you can retire in, though. That's the big problem. As an expat, you're looking, okay, where can I move and I retire and not have to do visa issues, or I have to leave the country every so often. And Thailand's one of the few countries that you can do it that actually offers a true retirement visa.
Well, they have an actual retirement visa, but a lot of these Latin American countries, they just have a very lax immigration. They don't really care who, just kind of like we have going on now. They don't care who comes in and goes, and they'll just keep giving you a 6-month visa every time or something. So by all practical, they might not have a retirement visa in name, but it's not hard to stay there. Pretty much all these Latin American countries.
Isn't Cambodia like that as well, though? Where you just keep renewing it every 30 days?
Yeah. Cambodia and Philippines are very easy. Cambodia, you get 30 days, and then you can extend that to a year. It's called a business visa, and anybody can get it. You pay $300, and they give you a year visa. And I believe Philippines is something similar too. They get a month, and then you can keep extending that 6 months, the immigration visa up to 3 years. So you can stay in Philippines for 3 years straight. No immigration, or you don't need a retirement visa or anything. You just got to go through the process, getting that 6 months every time.
I was talking to the people at Elite Visa. They have a new name for it. It's no longer called the Elite Visa. It's a new name for it. And the only thing I was asking is, do I still have to do my 90-day check-in? Can I get a discount at the waterfalls and Thai parks? No. Still have to pay still have to do 90 days, but we can help you with that. I'm like, what help? You walk in, it's one form, you hand it to them, they hand it right back to you, say you see you in 90 days. You're in and out of that office in 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
What do I need help for that? I mean, I've done all my paperwork without an agent. None of the visa applications here are difficult.
Next time I do a visa extension, I'm going to go to Rayong instead of waiting all day at Pattaya for my.
The Rayong one is so easy because there's very few people ever in there. Most of the people who are there are for family visas.
Yeah, it's surprising as close as Rayong is and developed it is, how close it is to Bangkok and Pattaya. There's almost no foreigners. There's just a few expats like yourself, very few. There is that stretch where you got some Scandinavians, some at the beach there, but the retirement community, that's it. There's nothing. I think there's some people that work in some of the industries there and oil and stuff, but it's such good transportation and so close to everything else. Pretty nice province. Like I was thinking even about living in Rayong because you showed me a lot of cool stuff. There's like nightclubs there. There's a there's a good park with basketball, best basketball court I've seen in all of Thailand. There's that Muay Thai
you really
school.
haven't seen though. You just saw the coast of it though. So Rayong is, shaped like an egg practically. So you were just along the bottom coast. All the upper portion is all mountain and lots of farmland up there, and it's just really gorgeous views.
Yeah,
like mountain views. You can look back down.
I don't know if I ever told you, but I was thinking about like maybe living there next time and just go like to Pattaya once or twice a month, visit.
They've got a shuttle van that runs from Phnom Penh and downtown to Pattaya, or you can just catch give a holler to me and say, "Hey, Russ, you going to Pattaya this weekend?" And I'm like, probably, maybe not, or I might be out there during the week.
Maybe I get a big motorbike,
Yeah, if you got a motorbike, it would take you about an hour and a half because you'd have to take Sukhumvit because you're not going to be able to take the highway.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the same with the route that you took when you took the bus over to here is how you would come over here.
Yeah,
and you pass right by Rayong immigration along the way.
Those mini buses are pretty efficient. You just take those for like $3-4 too.
Yeah, everything is cheap. Everything is cheap here in Thailand. UK doing simulation. Nothing. I'm looking at chat, seeing if there's anything coming up for reading. No. Still not. I was feeling like 25. I had more than that.
I'm enjoying this coffee. It's 9 p.m. here. It's late to drink coffee, but I drink it so I'd be more talkative for your stream.
Well,
now I want another cup.
So I just have one question, Charlie. You've been on YouTube for a while. How many years have you been on it
now? Well, I first started making videos back in 2017 January, so that's 7 years ago. I first started live streaming August 2009. Well, actually, I was doing some occasional streams before, but really got into streaming in the middle of 2019, about 3.5 years ago.
But why?
Oh, four and a half years ago. No, 4.5.
What was your motivation to start doing it? Was it like you saw there was a profit potential, or you just saw the creativity side of it?
Oh, I started doing live streaming,
or YouTube? Just start YouTubing in general. Did you see that?
YouTube in general
in it, or just the creativity side of it?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you how I got into YouTube. I had never really been into social media. Like I didn't never had my first phone until 2018. My first smartphone. I just always had a laptop when I traveled. And so I never had Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or anything. But the only site I did go on sometimes was YouTube. And I first started going on YouTube maybe 10 years ago just to kind of see what's going on in Thailand. That was the main reason. But, then I kind of got into it a little more. And about 2016-ish or so, right before I started doing YouTube, I was watching people like retired Cheap JC. You know him?
Yeah.
I was really into him. Durian Rider, David Bond, Bangkok 112. Harold Balder was making Thailand videos at that time, and I see a lot of these people were doing really well. I was in Thailand. I was like in Thailand, getting ready to go back home. I had like a couple months there, but my this business was failing, and I was kind of maybe I'll give YouTube a shot, see what happens. And at the time, I was like a big drinker. I was just hanging out in Walking Street every night, drink till like 5 a.m. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't have a phone. I didn't know anything about editing or cameras or anything. I just happened to have this really cheap $80 compact camera in my backpack that I've never used. So I just broke that out and just started filming as I was drinking all the crazy stuff that goes on in Pattaya. And I just had a month to do it. I learned editing while I was there. I was sitting on my laptop, and I had to try to teach myself everything. And I got some traction with those videos back. Just kind of goofing off and wanting to show people, like crazy Pattaya, like streets and lifestyle. And people liked them. It was up to like over 1,000 subs right off the bat. Nothing crazy in views, but it was, and back then they monetized you right away. Like you didn't have to go through a process where you need watch time and you just sign up account, you're immediately monetized. So like, but there was wild videos like, Lima Bravos and things like that on the streets and like, in the 7-Eleven flirting and like just all kinds of crazy stuff. And people liked them. And so I went back home. I said, and then as I was home too, the videos kept getting views. So I was up to like 2,000 subs, and I didn't even put up any more videos. And although all the videos were demonetized, so I had to sort of like, you know, tone down the content a little bit. I was starting to like, you know, learn about stuff, and so I thought maybe I could do this as a career, like Bangkok 112 or like Harold Balder. So I bought it. I didn't have a lot of money. I bought a camera on eBay, a little better camera, like for like $500. And I figured I'd go back to Thailand with about $1,000 to $1,500 to my name. That's why I did it. It took me about 4 months later. I went back in June with that new camera, and you know, I stayed in Bangkok for a week, and then I found a cheap fan room in Pattaya. And I figured I just, you know, because I was already making like 300 a month or something. Just like money was already coming in because you were monetized right away. So you know, if I have to, I could just live on 500-600 a month and just try to build my channel and make videos. But the channel did really good right from the start. It took about, you know, 3 or 4 months of living in that fan room, but then the views just started going real crazy, and then here I am today.
Was it always the Cheap Charlie Chronicles, or was it something else before?
Well, for a long time it was Cheap Charlie Chronicles, and I experimented with different names. Like I changed it to Big World Productions at one point. I changed it to Paradise Travel, and the thing with Paradise Travel, this was like a couple of years later. This was after I already had like 200,000 subs. The Paradise Travel, actually, I came back to Asia in 2019. I was in America for 4 months. I stopped in the Boracay. I had a really awesome camera. It was like a really expensive camera. Because back then I was doing really good. That's how I got this laptop. I was buying gear, and I made some really, and it had like perfect weather, and just, you know, so I made some really beautiful videos of Boracay, and all those videos got like 1 million views. And, which is, even for me at that time, was really good, because a lot of times I would still post a video back then and get maybe 10 or 20,000 views. You know, only occasionally I get a video that get like a lot of views. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to, you know, go around to beaches around the world and make beach videos. And, but I don't know, it kind of, I switched back to Cheap Charlie. That's what it is now.
When I was thinking about you doing your walk, thinking, you know what you really should do then, if you enjoy the walking, start down and trot down at the border, right on the, because there's a road that runs along the ocean of Thailand on the east coast here, and just start walking that. And you could walk all the way up to Pattaya.
Oh,
down,
in
Pattaya.
Thailand, you just walk along the
Yeah,
ocean.
just walk along the oceans. There's plenty of beach towns all along the way. I mean, we drove some of them
That
while you were out here, and you could walk
that would be awesome.
every
But
day to different beach towns.
are they all connected? Like, can you just, there's maybe some stretches where it's just a road, there's no sidewalk, you know?
There's a stretch. Most of the people are riding their motorcycles on them, so it's wide enough for the motorcycles and the cars. And there's usually a sungtao running between the different cities. If it's a longer stretch and people aren't going to walk it, so if it's more than like 5 kilometers, you can just hop on a sungtao to take you from one part to the next.
Oh,
So like if you were in Banpei and you wanted to go to Sun Sun Beach, but to do it you have to go around the mountain, there's going to be a sungtao that will do that for you, so you don't have to walk that stretch, because you may not get a cell signal there. But the rest of the way, you can walk all the way down there. So from my resort, you can stay along the beach and get all the way down to Sisaket, where I'm sorry, not Sisaket, where
Satahip?
city.
Satahip?
No, no. So if you throw out an answer, this confuses me more. But I know we have to go down there for my wife's life insurance to pay it. But there's 2 retired Navy ships there that are docked that you could go to. One of them put into the land. That's right along. It's right, still part of the walk, and there's these gorgeous beaches. There's nobody on them. There's a whole stretch of just houses on the beach. It's got perfect, like living in just south of Los Angeles, where you just have beautiful houses on the coast and nothing else there.
Yeah, when I was in Chanthaburi last year, it's the next province to the south. He knows what I'm telling the audience. Next province over, there's some like amazing, nice little beaches and coastlines and stuff, little beach towns, and
like the Sriracha, gorgeous over there.
Yeah.
But you can literally just walk the entire way, except then there's some parts of it where you're going to run into the Thai Navy, and then you've got to step back in, like downtown Rayong. The Thai Navy is just right over there as well. They have a huge naval base just outside of downtown Rayong, and a beautiful pristine beach lane that they have, that you can't get to.
Yeah.
If you look on it like at Google Maps, you'll see it. I'm like looking at the map, like, where is this beach? So I'm trying to drive and find it, and like right where the road shows you to go on Google Maps, it's just a fence. I'm like, what the hell? And then I see, oh, it's the naval base.
I heard there's some good hill tribe kind of like hikes up north. I don't know how long they are,
Yeah.
maybe 10, 20 miles. But all I know about hiking in Thailand is I was long time ago, me and my girlfriend, and we had a dog. We were in a car, and there's like some national park in the west towards closer to Burma, not Kanchanaburi, but to the north. I forgot the name of it. But so we found this trail. We started walking. Within 3 minutes, we had these like all these insects, like these like parasites trying to burrow into our skin. They came off the plant. So like they're on the dog, they're on us. So like we just went back to the car and got out of there. We brushed them off. They kind of fell off easily, but it was gross, man. So after that, I kind of like never even thought about doing any outdoor stuff in Thailand, other than the stuff that everybody does, beaches and things like that. So
Yeah, I've done the
waterfalls.
waterfalls. Waterfalls, yes.
Yeah,
I've done most
yeah.
of the
There's some wild
waterfalls
stuff
here
in that
already.
jungle.
And there's two waterfalls here in Rayong that you can go to that are up the mountains. One is much nicer than the other. And then just to the east of us, there are a couple more that are right off the highway that are free to go into. One of them is right next door to the military base. So you drive in, and the military guy gives you the salute as you drive in, and then you could park and just walk there. And it's still got the trenches from when they had a war during World War II, and they built all these trenches up.
Yeah.
They never used them, but they have all these trenches that are built along this particular area. And the guy was saying us, oh, this is from long ago in history when the Burmese who attacked us and the Cambodians who attacked us, we were prepared everywhere. And that's what these ditches are for.
Yeah, that little stretch of Thailand from Chonburi to Rayong to Chanthaburi, it's a small part of Thailand called the Eastern Seaboard, but it's a very interesting, beautiful part of the country. There's a lot of hills and jungle, and it's not like a lot of Thailand's kind of flat. You got all the rice fields, both in central Thailand and Isan. It's kind of flat, and just kind of, but that Eastern Seaboard where you live, it's a lot of variety in the landscapes, And we also have a lot of cities and towns, among them Pattaya, of course, one of them. So
it's a great drive. It's if you it's like driving down the coastal highway for Route 1 California. You're driving from San Jose, and you drive down to San Jose. No, I'm sorry, San Jose to Santa Barbara. That stretch of Highway 1. That's almost like riding the coast here. You just run from little town to little town, but it's just a beautiful, windy road. You've got beautiful beach the entire way. You're going to see plenty of restaurants and hotels the entire stretch. So whether you want to walk 10 miles or 20 miles each day, you're not going to have a problem finding a place to stay or running into 7-Elevens.
Oh yeah, Thailand. Yeah, that's the thing. The thing about Thailand is like, you never run out of amenities. Like there's always somebody who can, a taxi guy can take you somewhere, or a bat bus, or a guy selling food, fruit, selling coconuts. There's always something. 7-Eleven, a hotel.
You don't even have to carry a lot on your pack. I mean, you can wear just pretty much, instead of cheap clothes, you literally wear disposable clothing. Stuff that's so cheap you don't even think about washing it. When it gets dirty, you throw it away and you buy another shirt or buy another pair of pants.
Yeah, you could go real ultralight backpack.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the lighter you are, the further you can go. So if it means that you just, you get to the next town and you buy a new pair of elephant pants for 100 baht, and it would cost you 30-40 baht to wash them to begin with, but you don't have to carry 2 pairs of pants with you. You wear them a couple days. It might actually, and overall, it may come out of the wash. You could go further without having to carry the extra weight.
I figure I'm going to be carrying about 20 to 25 pounds on the Appalachian Trail before food and water. So that's just my tent, blanket, clothes, everything. My gear, yeah, including the backpack itself, which it's quite a bit. Like people that go under 10 pounds, their base weight. But I'm taking a lot of creature comforts and things like that. I'm kind of looking at it like it's going to be my home for 6 months,
Does your pack have the waistband with us, or it's just on your shoulders?
Yeah, it's got a hip belt and a shoulder strap.
Because I remember when I was in the military that when you did not hook up the hip strap, it just felt so heavy. But as soon as you
it's just hanging on your shoulders, if you know.
Yeah, and it lifted it off your all that weight came off your shoulders some and just got more onto your back and less on your shoulders. It was so much easier to walk because you're now standing up straight as opposed to being hunched over the whole time. Again, you just keep your hands and your fingers in a little hole there to hold on to. And it was all the weight is just right there on your strongest part in your midsection.
Yeah, that backpack I did when I walked across Ohio didn't have a hip belt, so it's just hanging on, but it didn't have a lot of weight in it. I was like, only had maybe 7 pounds of stuff in it. It's very lightweight, just a tarp, a bivvy, just a few clothes. It actually worked, but
Do you have any
Bobby's
hiking
asking,
poles?
do I have
Yeah,
hiking
yeah.
poles? I've never used hiking poles. I know a lot of people like them, and there's times where you actually need them, like you're crossing a stream or something. You can also just find a stick if you really need one, and use it. But I may buy one. There are some hiking shops along the trails, some of the towns. So if I figure I need one, I'll buy one on the trail. There's some things I'm holding off, but I want to see if I can do it without. I'd rather not have a hiking stick. But if I see I really need one, I'll buy one.
Isn't it just something else you have to carry with you all the time?
Yeah, if you're just used to hiking normally without any poles, then why would you switch to hiking pole? But I guess it depends what you're used to.
Right.
A lot of the really lightweight tents they make nowadays, they use a hiking pole to set it up as a structure. So what they do is they like you put your hiking pole up in the middle, and then it like a teepee, you stake it out. But I don't have a tent like that. If I had a tent like that, then maybe I would use a hiking pole.
Well, technically, your poncho could be done that way.
Yeah, the poncho
Because the
can
poncho's
too.
got the grommets in it already.
Yeah.
That you could put it upside down and use the grommets, and you can have a shelter, or at least a waterproof shelter for yourself.
Yeah. I got a really awesome poncho. I bought it. It's like from a European military. It's really heavy duty, really awesome. Not that heavy. It can be used as a tarp too. But I'm just gonna be using it as a poncho.
I remember in the military when we had our ponchos, it did more than just keep you dry. It could keep you extra warm at the same time. So if it was too cold, you didn't want to put on the heavy coat, but you put on the poncho, it would protect you from the wind. And you could, like you say, you put the belt on the outside, and it's like putting a plastic bag on yourself. It insulated you and made it easy to walk.
You said you were a Marine, right?
I was in the Marine Corps. Yep.
Oh yeah. That's yeah. So you know all that stuff. You had a bivy too.
Yeah, we've had them tents.
Oh yeah, tents. Okay, some guys only get bivvies. I guess it might depend on where you are, station or something.
I always figured the bivvy is like an older term for the bivouac.
Oh yeah,
which is that would be the camping area. Your bivouac.
Bivouac, yeah. Bivvy's a bivouac. Same thing.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
Hey, Charles, so you've been at this now since for about 7 years now, YouTuber.
Yeah.
Any
regrets? I started January 2017, so it's been 7 years now. And the last 4 years have been pretty just some streaming here and there, pretty uneventful. Like my really good run was the first couple of years before I kind of had before I kind of blew it up with my drinking problem.
Any regrets about becoming a YouTuber?
No, I got no regrets. I've had a good time, and maybe I'll get another go at it here in the future with vlogging and stuff. But my only regret is I wish I had a better handle on my drinking. I would have. But at the time I did it, I had a bad drinking problem, which manifested itself into YouTube. But now I quit for 3 years, so I don't plan on starting again anytime soon. But
just thinking of the fact that you were able to hang out with people who were drinking within the first year of going sober, and you weren't feeling that. Man, I wish I had a drink beer with me.
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, every alcoholic's different. Like, there's some that they just have to have drinks every day. They drink in the morning. I wasn't real like I had to drink every day, but like I was just kind of like when I did drink, it could get crazy sometimes, or I got off the rails. So that was my problem. But everybody has, different. If you have a problem with alcohol, it can be different for everybody, different ways. It affects people differently in all sorts of ways.
Boredom caused a lot of that, though. And even when I go to Pattaya, there's some days where it just becomes really boring, even with so much to do there.
Well, it was really Pattaya that I started drinking. Like not because I was bored, it was because I was having fun. So it's like it's just kind of like in my 20s, I never really drank until I discovered Pattaya when I was like 25, back in 2005. So I was a young man, and Pattaya was like it was a wild town back then. And I never really drank. I made like a really good friend. We'd hung out, and he's like, "Hey man, drink some Heinekens," and we just hang out on Walking Street, drink Heinekens, and talk to ladies and stuff, and go to nightclubs. And my habit back then, it wasn't that bad. I maybe had like 4, 5, 6 beers a night. I wouldn't get too drunk. But later in my 30s, it became a bigger problem, and I kept drinking more and more, and then it turned into a big problem. But But it was really Pattaya that I started drinking, because I had done a lot of travel before I went to Thailand, Pattaya. I never really drank much. Like I have maybe a glass of wine. It wasn't a thing with me until
I
my
guess you
mid
can always
20s.
point to where you can always point to where your rock bottom was. Mexico was your rock bottom of drinking.
Well, yeah, I had a rock
Getting
bottom before that too. I should have stopped drinking then. But the thing is, I quit for a couple months and then I start again, and it's the same problem is still there. So that's the mistake people make. They quit for a period of time, like a couple months or 6 months. They think they got the problem solved, but it's the same problem. For most people, it's gonna come back and be a problem again. At least for me. So I had to stay off it completely. But there's a lot of people that drink. They don't have much of a problem with it. Or they just enjoy themselves, and that's fine. I'm not like a drinking hater. I don't hate drink and people that drink. It's just what I have to do.
Yeah, you met
You,
my
you don't
friend
seem to
Steve.
drink that much, huh?
No, I'm not been a big drinker.
Yeah.
It's funny for me because for me, if I drink a beer, gain a pound. Drink 2 beers, gain 2 pounds. You drink 3 beers, gain 3 pounds. It's like for every time I'm drinking, the more I drink, the more weight I gain.
Huh.
And then
You
it
said
takes
you,
me
you said
a
you
week to
lost
lose it.
what 30, 40 pounds recently.
Oh yeah, I'm way smaller now than when you saw. I mean, you can definitely see it in my face, where my face was all really swollen before. Now it's much tighter, and I've lost 5.5 inches off my waist. So that's
Uh,
been really good. But you've met my friend Steve in Bangkok before. The guy,
yeah, yeah, I met him a couple
he could
times.
drink. I can hang out with him, and he can drink 3, 4 beers at the time I drink one.
Oh yeah, he's a party animal. I actually ran into
Oh
him in
yeah,
Pattaya like 4 years ago when I was streaming. We hung out together that long time ago, and then I saw him in Bangkok when I first got back. Again,
he is hysterical. What a fun guy to hang out with. We were out last weekend. We went to the boxing Muay Thai at Rajadam Stadium,
yeah, yeah.
and we had the counter seats where you got a real nice chair with a back and a counter to set your beer on, and they give you free popcorn, hot dogs, noodles, cup of noodle, free
That's a
Coke,
Muay Thai
and
place
free
in
beer.
Rayong.
Yeah, no, in Bangkok. It's
Oh,
the
Bangkok.
biggest
Okay,
big Muay Thai stadium.
you'll have to show me
The
where that
fights
is
they do the
because
broadcasting everywhere on
it seems like
Rise
some of
TV.
the Muay Thai places are like for tourists and they just charge you a bunch of money. I want to see like authentic fights and
No,
stuff.
this was the authentic stuff that they have broadcasting over to 200 countries around the world.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
this was
was
real
what
fun
was the
where
entrance charge to get in there?
the seats we had, again, it had complimentary beer,
Oh, you had the
sodas.
VIP seats. Yeah.
Had the VIP section. We were in the VIP, and that was 3,500 baht per seat, so $100 a
Yeah.
seat.
That's kind of
And we
high.
were
Yeah.
10
Maybe
yards
the
from the.
bleacher sheets are $10.
Yeah, I think the bleacher seats were 1,000 baht, and they were way up. But there really was not a bad seat in this stadium. But we
Yeah.
were literally 10 yards from the ring, and we were eye level. And when you walk out our entrance there, that's where the fighters were. So you could just, before the fight or afterwards, you could go in the back there and you get your picture taken with them. And that was really cool. You're sitting there just chit chatting with the people afterwards, and they're more than happy to take your picture. But yeah,
There's a
we
Muay
had a
Thai.
great time.
There's a Muay Thai boxing ring in Pattaya. It's kind of new, maybe 5, 6 years old. I've never been there. I'm wanting to check it out. They got fights all the time. I was curious how
Those
much it
are
costs. It's on Sukhumvit Road in
Yeah,
Pattaya.
somebody explained to me that we went to would be like boxing would be like the WBC, that higher level. Where what we would see in Pattaya would be like minor league baseball.
Yeah, yeah. I figure it's a smaller stadium, but it's probably also a lot cheaper.
Oh yeah, and these are people who are building up their fight records as opposed to,
Yeah.
yeah. So I saw a fight advertised coming up. It's going to be Manny Pacquiao versus Somchai, which is like the #1 Muay Thai fighter in Thailand.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and I didn't pay attention if it was a bare knuckle fight or not, but I just remember seeing the two of them on a fight together. And like, that'll be fun. Two guys who both know who were fast boxers. Should be fun, even though Sanchai is more of a kickboxer
Yeah, I
than
think
he is
Manny
a
would get
boxer.
destroyed. No disrespect to Manny, but he's just a normal boxer.
Yeah.
He's smaller too than that guy. Like I think he's older too.
Well, Sanchai's like 38, I think, 39.
Like
And he,
how like a boxers normally can't do kickboxing. That's not even really a close. That guy can throw kicks. You're just used to punching. It's usually not even a.
that
You're
in
more of a
Muay
complete
Thai,
fighter.
they're able to use they can use
Yeah,
elbows. They could do
yeah,
the
elbows, kicks. Yeah, that's
12
not
to,
really
they
a
can do
fair
the
fight.
12 to 6 elbow, which is even illegal in the UFC. You can't come down like that with an elbow in UFC, but in Muay Thai you can. And literally in the second fight we saw, a guy came flying in, elbow, boom, right the crack is in right here, blood just gushing down his face, and then two more elbows right to the side of the guy's face, and he literally fell down like a tree falling. He was like this, timber, and it's in
At the
slow
fight you're
motion
at. Yeah,
as he,
that's a
he got him
brutal
out here, and then
sport.
he just clapped. But it literally was like slow motion watching him fall.
Yeah, it's a brutal sport. Yeah, Jay, he's in the chat. He's gonna be retiring to Thailand soon.
What are your long-term plans?
Well, I want to do the trail, and then after that, who knows? Maybe travel the world. I don't know. Maybe come back to Thailand.
I'm
I
thinking
haven't.
not. Those should be your short term. I mean,
I,
you're not even 50 yet.
I
Long
think
term,
if I
like
spend 6
50
months
and
to
plus.
do 2,000 miles on this trail, my perspective might change a little bit. So we'll see what happens.
You
They
may want
say
to
it
do
could
like
be like a
the
life
Forrest
changing
Gump thing.
experience.
Do
Huh?
the Forrest Gump thing. You just walk across. First you walk north to south. Next time you're going to walk east to west.
Well, they got to have it. They don't really have an east to west trail. They got.
Yeah,
That's the thing is
Route
you kind of need a
66,
trail unless you just want to walk on the road a little time, which isn't really nice.
there is a trail that runs through I remember because I was in Colorado that there's a trail that runs through there. My brother was telling me it runs through most of America. It's a bike path that's running along the highway. That was Highway 80, but it goes down to Highway 40.
Huh.
And it's something. So there's a trail that's running parallel with Highway 40, which used to be the old Route 66.
Oh.
So you may want to take
Well,
a look.
I heard they're working on like a cross country bike trail. You got some of these different routes and trying to connect it all together, but I think right now it's not there yet. That'd be awesome if they get that going.
Because you could still walk on Route 66 or like north south. You could walk along Route 1 where they still have the bike path along the side of the road. Because you could walk from Maine all the way down to Miami just staying on Route 1.
Yeah. Well, they got a trail. Florida has a Florida trail, which is like 1,200 miles in its own right from like Miami to the Panhandle. And then from there's a trail in Alabama you can get to. And then you can take that to the Appalachian Trail all the way to Maine. So you could almost do that now just with the trails that exist. But if you want to go east to west, it's a challenge. I wouldn't mind, like, if I did something, the Appalachian Trail would be, maybe if I keep hiking, maybe, go back to England, maybe England and Ireland after that. I was thinking that.
Yeah. So when you did the walk across Ohio, that was like a week and a half you did that?
That took me a month. I ended up doing like 350 miles because I had it on my iPhone app how many miles I did, but it wasn't continuous. It wasn't just one trail all the way across. I had like do 50 miles here, 30 miles here, and so that was about 350. It took me a month.
And you made some really bad choices along that trip, like taking your shoes off and forgetting where you left them.
Yeah, I made some mistakes. Learning mistakes, as they say. Learning. The raccoons was the big one. That was a big learning thing. I
thought losing my shoes. I thought losing your shoes would be the biggest mistake.
Well, yeah, I recovered them. Yeah, that was on the second day of a walk. I think what happened was they were I wanted to walk bare feet, and I put them in my backpack, and they fell in my backpack. I didn't realize it's like a half mile down the trail. But a guy on the bike picked him up. He saw me running, like frantically, and then when he saw the shoes on his bike up ahead of me, he figured I was the guy that lost the shoes. So he had them for me.
Yeah, I remember watching that in the chat, just thinking, God, that's got to be the dumbest thing he's ever done.
Yeah, well, I wanted to walk barefoot for a while, but I didn't walk barefoot again for the rest of the trail.
Yeah. Sometimes the idea of doing something and the practicality of doing something aren't always the right things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was one thing. Anything else you like you learned from the walk in Ohio that you're gonna take with you this time?
Yeah, definitely have a respect for animals. They can get your food, tear apart your equipment, tent. You take precautions for them. So see a lot of stuff I have, like I got these odor-proof bags because I was just trying to go super ultra light. So I didn't bring anything for food. Like these aren't 100% odor-proof, but they can really help. They're like big heavy duty Ziploc bags that are supposed to be odor-proof. And if you have your food in these, that could cut down, the scent for animals. But I had those at the time. But I didn't bring them because I just didn't think it'd be a problem. I wanted to go super ultra light, light backpack. So this time I'm really just going to bring the kitchen sink pretty much. If there's anything I don't want, then I'll just get rid of it or ship it home or something later on. But I'm going to be well prepared this time. Yeah, that's
Have
one
you
thing.
done a lot of research on the trail here? So like where there are places that you can camp safely, where you're gonna have to do some stealth camping.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've watched a lot of vloggers, done a lot of research. Appalachian Trail is pretty unique. Like you can pretty much camp. Camping's not going to be a problem. It's not like what I was doing in Ohio, because that Ohio thing was just for people riding bikes and going out for the day for a little walk. It's not really for people like walking and camping, for weeks. So but that Appalachian Trail, everybody does the camping, and they go out for weeks or months at a time, or even the whole trail. So they even have shelters like every 5-10 miles. It's like a wooden or stone shelter they built. People can stay at. Sometimes they're full, but you can sleep outside the shelter in your tent. And the shelters are just there because the Appalachian Trail has been around 100 years. Up until like say the 20, 30 years ago, the equipment was too big and heavy, so people would just sleep in the shelters. Not many people were doing it back, like say in the 70s. So people would just bring a backpack of a few things, and then they would stay in the shelters. They wouldn't have to bring a tent, because back then the tents were really big and heavy. But now they have all these really lightweight, high technology things that people can bring everything they need in their backpack. So
Do they have a lot of people where you're going as an individual, but you end up finding other people who walk the same speed you do, and then you just end up just staying together for most of it, just because there's always safety in numbers?
I've never seen. I mean, I've looked at like maybe a half dozen different vloggers over the last 5 years who've hiked it. And sometimes, yeah, it seems like people might hang out with each other and walk together for a few days or a week or 2 weeks. So like eventually something happens, people split. Not they're fighting or anything. It's just like, one's like kind of recovering in a hotel in town longer. Everyone wants to get going, or they're walking at different speeds, things like that. So yeah, it's seems like most people do their own thing. Now there was one lady, she was a very beautiful lady last year, hiker, and she she was really fast walker. She was like doing 25, 30 miles a day, and she was really good hiker, but she lost her, like she was trying to go ultra light, so she just had like a tarp and bivy. But later in the trail, she didn't want to stay in the tarp, and she just stayed in another hiker's tent. So I guess they stayed together in the tent for like for the last third of the hike, So that's why I was thinking about bringing a two-person tent in case that happens to me, but I don't think that will.
You never know when you're going to get lucky, right?
Yeah, she was pretty too. So I was like, man, that'd be nice if that happened to me.
What was the woman's name you met when you were in South America?
What's that?
What was the woman's name you met in South America? Nana Pimps?
Nana Pips, yeah.
Nana Pips, yeah. Maybe you'll meet something like that along the way.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, Nana Pips, she's a live streamer herself. She's a good streamer.
Yeah. She was definitely enjoyed your company.
Yeah. Yeah, that was right near the end of my trip.
Sometimes he's got a fan, but I should have caught up with her earlier. Would have been more exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot like Colombia has actually got a lot of great hiking, camping places to explore, deserts and mountains, but you don't have a trail, but you can go to some town and kind of explore the region. You go up hiking in the mountains and stuff. So, but Thailand is just, I think a lot of those Southeast Asian countries like Thailand are just not that good because of the humidity in the tropics. Like if you try to do a lot of hiking in say a country like what's a good example? Trying to think of like in Costa Rica, not in the mountains, but like in the coast, in the jungle. That's not a good place to hike. The only reason Colombia is kind of good is it has elevation. It's like 8,000 feet up in the air, so the weather is much cooler, and the vegetation is a lot easier.
Got to get excited over here. The first water truck has showed up.
Water truck.
Here. Yeah, to fill the pool. My well would never fill the swimming pool. I can't pump out water fast enough, and the city water's not clean enough.
Oh,
so
yeah, they're hitting at a breakneck speed. I saw a couple of days ago. It was like a hole in the ground.
Yeah,
that's a Thai.
It was funny watching them yesterday when they
just
were dropping the frame in. So if you're going to hear the dogs start barking, basically they're my alarm clock or alarm system around here. You can't get near my property without my dogs going crazy. Who needs a doorbell when you have the dogs?
Yeah, you have a great security around there. No problem.
Well, since you've been to the house, I mean, there's not like if somebody were to come around here to rob me, it's like, who's going to hear it? It's like that.
Yeah.
It's not like I have any of the neighbors close by. So luckily,
But
we all have dogs.
you have to worry about ties who breaking in. Maybe a tie thief that robs houses,
Yeah,
but that's what you'd have to worry about. But I think in your situation, yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
yeah. I have even in my area because there's no reason to be on this road. If you don't live on this road, there's no reason to be on it. It's not like it's a road to get from one area to another or a shortcut. It's just a loop that comes in off of the main road. So you turn in, you go up, you go around, you come back down. That's the whole street. And I'm at the middle of it. So if you live on that end, you come in from one end. If you live in the other end, you come in there. And I'm right in the middle of it. So it's always weird when I see people passing by our house. It's like, I know why they do it because there's concrete on one side and dirt on the other. And
Yeah,
even though it's longer to go to the right, it's a much smoother ride because the dirt road is a disaster. So all the weeds and plants are just growing into it. They put in the sewer, but they didn't level the land, so you've got the sewer line, and then the dirt just falls down. It's like up,
I,
down, and it's only on
I,
one side.
I used to live in an environment like you with my ex Thai girlfriend. 15 years ago, we lived there for a few months with her grandma. She lived out like in the end of a dirt road, up country, and it was the end of a dirt road. She lived like in an old. She was maybe 80. She lived in like an old wooden house, really traditional old wooden, like just a makeshift rustic house. And her mom built a bungalow. That's where we were staying, but nobody else was in it, so they let us stay there. And her grandma had we go inside the wood house, had this big giant like machete axe thing like behind the door, and it's like, what's that for? That's for like a thief. I don't want to rob that granny.
Yeah, I would feel sorry for
She was a
somebody who
very
came in there.
strong old lady too. She lived by herself. She had a couple dogs and very healthy. She still tended the farm. You know.
I feel really sorry for somebody who tried to break into my house because you get over the fence, and then there's going to be like 6 dogs that are all the big dogs, like you've seen. They're the ones that just roam the yard. And then if you come up the back door, if you get past all of those dogs, I've got 2 other dogs that live on the backs, on the upstairs in the back
Your
entrance of the
place is
house.
Fort Knox. I've seen it. Yeah, it's got a wall around it. Nobody's getting in that place.
I like to think of it as canine knocks. This is a kennel knocks. There you go. Kennel knocks would be a much better way of describing it. And
Yeah,
then if you
like you
got
said, it's
inside,
also suspicious too that how they get in there is the dirt road. It's like you're
yeah,
gonna see them, hear them coming.
yeah,
That's the case with that where we live too. Is at the end of a dirt road.
yeah. You see, and my fence is almost 7 foot tall from the outside, and in the back it's 8 feet tall. And there's no, unless you have a ladder, you're not even going to be able to climb it from the on the
Yeah,
outside.
you got a big
And
fence. You got cameras, dogs. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I just realized that one of my cameras, the one that's right here, that stares into the front, is aiming right at the swimming pool as well. And so I told my wife, I got to adjust that camera. How am I going to go skinny dipping if that camera's right there?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I got to adjust that one off the pool. But I had to take out the solar light that was over here. But the 2 lights that are going to be in the pool, I figure with those, with the reflecting, it's going to light up the whole front of this area anyway. So
Yep.
who needs to have another solar light like that? There's the water coming in. I don't know. I can't. Hang on a second. I'm going to play here. I'm going to go with this one here. Let's see if I can make this happen. If I bring that. There we go. So there's the pool. The guy sitting all the way in the back there. He's holding the water, the hose, and the
Looking
truck is
good.
on the other side of the fence. Yeah, full cam. Like, I think my first time ever using the StreamYard application.
You're doing a good job with it. Yeah, it's cool.
It's really cool.
I've known about streamers. I just haven't been on it much or used it. It's pretty popular among the the Thailand live streamers and stuff. There was a lot of people doing StreamYards.
Yeah, Banana King was from Talkback Time was on my stream yesterday. We were talking to him, and he was saying the same thing. It's like, yeah, we should probably get back into it. I said, there's just not many Thai streamers anymore. A lot of them have taken off and gone other places. Even James Casinos left here.
Yeah, he's doing van life. Yeah. There was a little bit of an explosion, a few years ago, but there hasn't been a lot of new people getting into it, and some of the other people have stopped, or in other countries or moved on. So yeah, there hasn't been a lot of new blood coming into it so far.
I don't think the money's there for it anymore.
Huh?
I don't think the money is there for it anymore.
Yeah. People realize too. Yeah, there's not a lot of money in it. Like even if you're one of the bigger ones and you stream all day, you got expenses. You're not. Nobody's getting rich off streaming. Not in our genre. Maybe I know like
Yeah.
Ice Poseidon does pretty well, but there's maybe a few people in the world that stream doing travel streaming that do anything well at all. There are
Pretty
actually
much
there are millionaires
people are
and
doing it.
streamers, but they're playing video games. I don't know why, but that's the
Like
big
my
thing.
daughter's that.
Huh?
That's what my daughter does for a living. She's
Yeah,
a video gamer.
that's where the big views and money is. People doing like travel streaming and stuff. It's not very popular.
So somebody asked a question. I'll answer the same one. So I emailed you with a couple ideas on how to finance your walk. Have you looked into any of those? I don't want to talk about it if you haven't done it.
I got to look back on the thread. I must have missed that email. I saw the one with the questions and we talked about, but I didn't see. Maybe I must have missed it.
Turning yourself into a walkathon.
Okay, I'll have to look back at that. Look at the emails again.
Okay, yeah, because it was basically a way that you could have your whole trip funded by you turning yourself into a walkathon.
Okay.
Where you get with a nonprofit in your area.
Oh yeah, I see the email. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, because it's as long as you're mentioning them all the time, it gives you the purpose for doing it, and any donations come in, the fund takes care of your expenses versus profit. The profits can go to them, and you cover all your expenses. And then any super chat that comes in is yours. But all the donations for anybody who's sponsoring you for the walking, even if somebody does just 10 cents a mile.
Oh yeah, I was. Yes, yeah. I don't. The thing is, anytime you do anything like that on social media, or the people think, oh, he's trying to scam or something, I'd rather it just be like, people always. I'm not saying like my community would think that, but anytime you're doing stuff for charity and stuff, I think it gets complicated. Even if you're doing the right thing. And
well, that was all reason like using the website I pointed you to, because you don't have control of any of it. You put in, here's how, this is the company this is the nonprofit that's getting the money. These people will be donating, and they take care of it. You have no control.
Oh, it goes directly to the charity.
It goes directly to them. Yeah, they are the middleman that protects you.
But the thing is, even if you're doing that, here's the problem you have is like, oh, he's taking the super chats, he's doing this, so people will just assume like, it's a big can of worms. Anytime now, if you just straight up say, this is for me to pay for my hike, then it's not a problem. But once you get a charity involved, then it's like it's just this big can of worms, I think.
Okay.
Now, there was a guy who was going to sponsor. He was going to donate to a charity for each mile walk, but that was on his own. Maybe he'll still do that. That was just all his own business. He was just going to do on his own.
Right. Are there, going through the trail, I was looking at it on the map, are there any particular areas that you're like really excited to walk through that are of any kind of historical value or just personal interest?
I'm kind of excited. I'm really excited just for everything. If we do the whole trail, I'm very confident. Maybe I'm too, it's a bad thing, too overconfident. I'm gonna get out there. And it's like, what the hell do I get myself into? But yeah, I've seen there's some parts of Virginia that look really cool, nice. There's a lot of times that people start vlogging, they start in Georgia, but it's still winter and there's the forest and the trees are still, it's kind of stark. But by the time they get to Virginia, it's very beautiful. Spring's in bloom and the trees are nice. And so I might actually start late for that reason because, I kind of like to see the forest and stuff. I don't really care about the views as much. Some people say they like winter because they can see across the hills, because they're not covered in the trees aren't covered in leaves. But
I was thinking of like if you're going to get to any cities, you're planning on veering off the trail to go hit that particular city to do some sightseeing of the city.
Yeah, you could do that too. I might do a little bit of that. There's not a whole lot of towns or cities. Most of the towns are pretty small, but like if you want to get like 50 miles down the trail, there's places like in Knoxville, North Carolina, or Asheville, North Carolina. But they're quite a ways off the trail. They'd be a good long, hour and a half drive or something. One of the closest cities is actually New York City, believe it or not, to the trail. the trail goes within like 35 miles of New York City. You could actually walk off the trail into the suburb and take a train right into the city. Walk like 3 to 5 miles, I think it is, the train station. So
Do they have
that's
places for you to shower along the way?
huh?
Are there places they're going to be able to shower? Like some of these shelters have
Oh,
running water for a shower?
well, there are some little towns here and there, like maybe every 30 to 50 miles on average. They have some motels and have some hostels where you can shower. But in some cases, they go for 7, 10 days without a shower, which would be pretty rough for me. I don't like going that long. I like to shower every day, so I'm bringing my own device to shower with on the trail. It's more appropriate for when it's hot out, but I'm gonna see how it works. It's basically to bathe. What I do is I got this. It's this big thing I can pick up. Like let's say I'm at a stream. This thing I
I
can
know
fill it up.
it's a bag of water. It holds like 2 gallons of water,
Yeah,
and you
it's
like
not a
make
bucket, but it kind of acts like a bucket because it's lightweight.
yeah.
But I can scoop up like 10 liters of water, and then I just put some soap in there, and then I can bathe myself, with like a handkerchief, just wash my,
Mhm.
and then I could also even do some laundry and that. Put the soap and just mix it all around, and maybe it's better than nothing.
It's almost like a PVC plastic that you can hang. It's real strong though.
Well, yeah, you're not necessarily gonna hang it over yourself. It's just you can scoop up a bunch of water, like 10 liters, and then you can carry that, and then like say you're in a flat ground clearing, and then you just kind of bathe yourself with that water, and then you can pour the
Okay.
rest of it over yourself. You use half of it.
Because I remember we used to have it's like a square with, but it was real strong plastic. You hang it from a tree, and you can hang it from the tree around noon if you're going to be staying in one area for the day. You let
Yeah,
it hang there, it get warmed by the sun. So around sunset, you wanted to shower. There was just a little on and off switch, and you could just spritz yourself with nice warm water for showering.
yeah, something like that would be good. Yeah, there are some solutions. What I've seen all the hikers is nobody, is even making an effort to try to bathe or shower. They just wait till they get a hotel. So
Maybe
I'm gonna
that's why
do,
they don't walk together that often.
huh?
Maybe that's why they don't walk together that often because of the smell.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make a little effort at doing that. But it'd
I
be
know
best
you
in
showed some
summer.
of the
You're gonna be hot anyways and sweaty. You want to clean yourself off a little bit.
yeah, you've already shown some of the gear that you've purchased. Have you bought any? You lost it for a second. You still there, Charlie? I lost your audio. Is my Bluetooth? I think my Bluetooth shut off. One moment. All right, can you hear me? Charlie, I'm not able to hear you anymore. I can't hear you. All right, I'm back. Echo. I know my audio is working again. And we'll see if Charlie gets back in here. If for some reason the stream just stopped working for a moment, and let's see what happens here. It's okay, guys. Anybody have any questions that you want to give to Charlie? Put them in the chat. I'll ask them. We'll see. He's not really paying much attention to them. All right. Charlie says he should be in the StreamYard studio. He's not. Now he is. Oh, that was weird.
Oh yeah, sorry about that. You had to actually click another button to get in the studio. I thought I was already in the studio. No, yeah.
That's all right.
Like it's working again.
Yeah, we're good. We're good now. So,
Cool, yeah.
question is, why is the sound not coming out of my phone? I'm not getting. My earbuds are not making the sound.
I hear you loud here.
Yeah, I hear you. I just don't know where the sound is coming from. Oh well. As I can hear coming. Oh, I can hear the sound coming out of the speaker on my computer, and you can hear me from the microphone on my Bluetooth. So combination here works for me, as long as it doesn't echo. All right.
It's working pretty good.
And there we go. All right. So where was I asking a question here? Oh, we were asking like where you were going. Are there places you might be interested in wandering off the trail?
Before cut off.
Gear, thank you. Yeah, gear. Is there things that you've purchased already that you realize that, yeah, you used it once to try it out, like, yeah, this isn't going to work, or I'm probably not going to need this?
Yeah, I started buying stuff for like hiking a few years ago. So I got a collection of stuff I've accumulated. But pretty much I like most of the stuff I bought. But I do have some redundancies, like some stuff that's extra that I don't need, or I could actually make a whole backpack. Like if I had another hiker, I could make a backpack just about has everything someone else would need. I got, like,
surprised you just like pack up stuff and then go for like a 2-day walk just out around your house. Just go walking for the day and see what you have on there. How's that feel for the day? Yeah, even if it's cold.
Yeah, I do quite a lot of that. You have to test it. And, I might be doing like a 10, 15-day hike in Ohio again this winter before the trail. I'll probably live stream that. It's the same walk I did 3 years ago, but back then I didn't really know anything. So I'm going to maybe revisit that trail.
Yeah. So some people are saying that you're not going to be able to live stream the Appalachian Trail that much, that you're just going to be able to make videos. Is that pretty much your plan, or are you trying to live stream some of it?
Yeah, well, I've heard people say like the Appalachian Trail has about 60% coverage, but that still might not be good enough to live stream all the time. You need pretty good connection. So I'm expecting not to stream that much and make videos. But if I get lucky and I get some good connection for 100 miles, and maybe I'll do some streaming here and there.
Okay, I figured you really need to plan like T-Mobile or AT&T. You're not going to try to go with like Cricket, which is more of a regional area cellular plan.
Well, I got a free service because it was like one of these deals where you sign up and you get a family member a free. So I got a free phone service, which will help you save some money. But I don't know how good it's going to be in the trails.
But if you're interested, I can give you. I have a extra number still from my T-Mobile plan. I can ship you the SIM on it because I don't use it, and then you could be on T-Mobile plan for it. When I added my uncle to my plan, they gave me another number as well, and so now I have 3 numbers. I only use my number, and my uncle uses the other one. So I've got this third one that's a Colorado number that has the 5G with unlimited. It's like, yeah, I'm never going to use it. I don't have a reason to.
That's pretty good. How would I get that?
Email me your address. I'll drop it in the mail.
I
Or
already got something
actually,
in the works though. Like, see how this works. If this don't work good, okay, go ahead.
hang
Yeah,
on a
good.
second. Hang on a second. They need to get electricity again. I need to turn it back on for them.
Hey, what's up, chat? We got Go Hard Brother, Mock, Stuart Lennox, Timmy, Muhammad Wing. Yeah, guys, I haven't done this kind of format.
You're
I've only
live.
been on people's streams maybe a couple times in 4 years, so it's kind of fun. It's interesting doing this. Have you ever been on StreamYards before, other than your own? Oh, you said you were.
What was your question?
Have you ever been on people's StreamYards other than your own?
Oh, let's see. I've done one with one or two with Jeremy. I've been on Talkback Thailand. I was just one with Greg just the other on Sunday when I was leaving Bangkok. He was talking about what's known as a user fucked agreement, and because I have experience with it, I thought I call in and just explain that what he was saying is he was dead on. What other people are talking about being able to own property,
Yeah.
and because I have experience with it, because I have property here and I have the resort. That's
Yeah,
why, I
Talkback
probably more
Thailand.
experience than a lot of other expats who are going to talk about it.
I just looked it up. It sounds familiar, but I'm not. I've never. I think I've seen it like years ago. This channel.
So Bobby, I was not drafted. I was a volunteer in 1985. My MOS was an 1171, which was known as a basic hygiene equipment operator, NBC specialist. We did the water purification for people, and when you weren't doing water purification, you were doing laundry and running the showers if you were out in the field. And if you've ever seen the movie The Water Boy with Pauly Shore, he was the Army version of the same type of job. And during Vietnam, they used to be known as skivvy dippers because they just did the laundry.
Yeah, there's a lot of different jobs in the military.
That was my MOS in the military. Sponsor anyone to stay. I can't sponsor anybody to stay in town. I've got enough other responsibilities between the kids and the dogs. I don't need any more sponsors panned out, but thank you. And next month is my 20th anniversary to my wife. We've been together 22 years, and March 11th is our 20-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm one of those rare people who met a Thai girl and who didn't work in a bar, smart, gorgeous,
Yeah,
and we just click.
There's people out you like their success stories. You just don't hear about them too much, but they're out there. You hear about the negative stories.
I think this because there's just a lot more of them, because I think it's where you meet your girl. And if you've met your girl and she's met a lot of other guys before, that's what you expect. My wife's job, she had a lot of different things going on when I met her, but her main job was she would go out on the beach wearing her bikini top and shorts, and she'd ask people if they want a massage. And guys thinking that she's going to do it because she's hot, and she'd drag them back over to where her aunts and her cousins were all doing the massage on the beach, and she was just the eye candy advertisement for them.
Switch.
And then she would get a cut of everybody who got a massage. They'd give her a couple baht for each one of them.
It was the bait.
She was definitely the bait. She was definitely the what is it called when you bait and switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely was the bait and switch girl. You see this beautiful, sexy 24-year-old girl thinking you're going to get a massage from her, and then you bring her back to her 45-year-old really fat aunt who's actually doing the massage.
Yeah.
And she even had my wife had a fiance who was just leaving Thailand at that time that I met her, and she couldn't wait to dump him. So, and he left. I stepped right in, and he never came around again. He realized she did not want to be with him, and she didn't have an easy way to say, I don't want to be with you anymore.
Yes, some women will hang around just because it's good for them financially, but they don't really. You got to kind of pick up on the signs that maybe we don't have that good of a relationship, or she doesn't love me, or because I've been with a number of women in Thailand, and sometimes like I had one I was with for 2 weeks. She was wanting me to buy her gold and all this and that, and we just kind of met, and I just thought like she was only really with me just to kind of try to take advantage of me. She doesn't really have much interest in me or anything. So I broke up with her, and she would still call me like a month later. Hey, can you send some money to my bank and stuff? It's like, I mean, she was a nice lady. She was very beautiful, but she was just out there to, try to make some money.
Yeah, running the hustle.
Yeah, and then
There's
I would
nothing
see
wrong with the
her.
girls running the
I
hustle.
run into her like a few months later or something, and she'd be like walking with a guy on Walking Street, or doing this or that, and she had a Norway passport somehow. It's like the end of the stories is like, you should see the flags somehow if you end up with one of these kind of women. I think a lot of guys, they just kind of like ignore it.
Yeah,
They're
I
having a
know.
good time, and they're having they enjoy themselves, and they look
My
past these
wife,
red flags.
my wife's best friend, who I've known as long as I've known my wife, because I met Jit the same night that I met my wife. Um, and it's really funny because Jit and I were like literally oil and water, did not get along at all. My wife and I just mixed perfectly. But Jit's married to a German guy, and they've had to borrow money from us a couple different times now for him to cover his visa, where he did not plan properly, and he's in his 80s now,
Oh wow.
and his pension is not what it used to be because of the exchange rates, that some months he doesn't make enough in there. So we had to loan him money so that he could meet the minimum requirement to keep in the bank. So you have to have the money sit in the bank for up to 6 months beforehand. And so he had loaned him money for 6 months. And if it weren't anybody else, I would have not done it. But because it was Jit, it was a different story. I was like, here's some money so he can cover his visa. But he literally lives month to month. And I could not imagine living that way.
It's good you helped him out. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. There always has been in Thailand and Southeast Asia. I met them in Pattaya, like just like Brits and stuff. They're living off their 900 pounds a month, 800 pounds. That's all they got. They got no savings.
If I go through, I know my budget. People ask me, hey, what's the cost to live there? And I don't have car payment. I don't have a house payment. I don't have a laundry or a lot of the other expenses. I have food and entertainment. It's pretty much all my expenses here because my wife takes care of all the bills. I have no. You ask me, hey, how much is your electricity bill? I don't know. I mean, it comes on the pole. My wife pays for it, and she pays for it, and it comes and it's directly to not direct deposit, direct withdrawal from her account. The cars are all paid for. I know how much my health insurance is because I just renewed that. So I've got the best health care, and it was 80,000. Yeah, 80,000 baht for the year. So less than $3,000 for the whole year for health insurance with no deductible of any kind. But my budget, I figure, is around $1,500 a month just for fun, just for gas money, travel money, and I'm constantly traveling. Sometimes with the wife, sometimes without her. And I'll call my wife. It's like, hey, honey, don't bother coming home tonight. I'm not going to be home. Where are you going? I'm going to Pattaya for the next 4 days. I'm going to Trot. I'm going to Koh Samet. I'm just going. So I need to get away.
And what's amazing about Ross is he's such a successful expat. It's not just in romance, but also like there was a time where he was very broke with him and his wife. They were like living in LA collecting cans. He said he was like totally. So he made it. He made it financially and in all aspects of life out there. So big ups to Ross. You can make it as an expat overseas. A lot of people kind of like, they don't necessarily hit rock bottom, but they might not also hit top. They kind of stay in the middle for years, or they come and go. Like I consider myself a yo-yo expat. Like kind of come in and out. That could go on for years and years. But you definitely made it. You've done very well in Thailand. So I use Ross as an example. Like people say, I hear people say, Thailand is a terrible place. People get scammed and robbed there. I use you as an example. Like, well, this guy, look at this guy. He's very successful over in Thailand.
Yeah, I figured out how to way to make money in America while still living in Thailand.
Yeah. It's amazing story.
Yeah. So somebody on the chat asked me, where was it? Do I still own the resort? Yes, we still own the resort. It doesn't make much money. It probably at this point is losing about $500 a month, which is like the cost of having my dogs. But it's also, the land is still valuable. I'm getting an echo.
He says that's why I told Ross to do a budget on your channel. Yeah, he'd be welcome. the thing with Ross is I actually saw him on YouTube a long time before I ever met him. Back like 5-6 years ago on Jeremy's channel, Do More Life. A video of his went viral. He made a video about a budget on Jeremy's channel. It got like 500,000 views. So that was back when I was doing YouTube on Pitaya, like 6 years ago. So like, that guy, he's pretty cool. You know, he knows what he's talking about. But I
that's the first video I ever did.
You were like, that was like $2,500, $3,000 you need or something. I thought you were like too high, but yeah, I thought you did a good video too.
I don't live a poor man's lifestyle. That's for definitely sure. I mean, I definitely enjoy living here. And if you just wanted just to stay in one place, like, you know, there are guys who live in Pattaya. They don't travel anywhere. They don't drink. Their idea of, you know, enjoyment is just walk the beach every day, and they're good with that. And if you're good with that, congratulations to you. That's your lifestyle. But I like to travel more. I'm going to get on the airplane and just go fly somewhere. Like, I know next month I'm still debating. I want to go to Phuket or to Chiang Mai for my birthday. Either way I'm going, I'm going to go do some scuba diving.
Yeah, I found the video. It's got 400,000 views. Would you like me to link it for the chat?
Yeah, I'm sure Jeremy would get a kick out of if somebody else watched that again. Some of it is still true because the cost of Thailand doesn't really go up.
Does the exact amount of money you need to retire in Thailand explain?
Yeah, I didn't name the video.
So this is let me see here.
It's also the first video I ever did. I sat at my kitchen table. Jeremy had asked me, he's like, hey, you want to make a video of like the cost of what it costs you to live here? I'm like, sure. Because I came out here with 4 dogs and 6 suitcases. And so I can give you an idea of exactly what it's like to come here and have to rebuild everything. Where's that other echo?
All right, let me see.
I think Pool Cam is echoing.
All right, let me see if I get the link here. I'll post it for the chat. Okay, this is Ross from about 5 years ago. He did a video that went viral with Do More Life. Here's the video.
Oh, I was still fat. I was fatter then too. Here, I'm sitting out on my porch here, but so watch yourself, Wi-Fi. My dog Wi-Fi. So if anybody saw me back when you were out here, when did you and I make a video together? Was that November?
We made a video. I think it was
when
like
we out here?
Maybe December or January.
Okay, so almost a year ago, or about a year ago. So you can saw that it wasn't there. So yeah, I'm doing my strip, but you can see how much smaller I got.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, lost some weight.
Yeah, that's what 40 pounds would work now. That's what do it. I had to get all new shirts made. So I was in Pattaya and had custom-made shirts that they will readjust them if I get even smaller. They'll take them in over here on the sides if I want to, because they've got this really cool stitching where they can take the stitch out and pull it closer together over here. So the shirt was actually made to be tailored to make thin if I need to.
I didn't think you had that bad of a weight problem. I thought you kind of looked like kind of stocky, like George Costanza and Seinfeld, that kind of build. You know?
Well, he was fat.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad. Like, it's just stocky. They call it husky, stocky. You know, it was not that. You carried your weight well. You
know. Jay-Z, speaking of Jeremy, yeah, I sent an email to Jeremy 2 days ago. Yeah, let him find out what was going on with him to see what's going on. He had surgery, and he asked me not to talk about what the surgery was, so I won't. And that's his story to tell, not mine. But he's doing okay. I got on him about his channel saying do more life, and it seems like his doing more life is just doing more work these days. But, you know, sometimes, as I always say, if you are not willing to make sacrifice for what you want becomes the sacrifice. And it's where is that echo coming from? I'm getting an echo, but where is it?
Yeah, here's some sort of audio interference.
Yeah, it's pool phone. Because I'm pulling a pool phone here.
It's not too bad.
But that should get rid of it. No? Okay, how about now? No? That is so weird. Weird. You know what? I'm going to close pool cam. Okay. Now that should go away. I still have the iPad recording it, so for my time lapse video. It's a Cricket Wireless. I'm on Team. I have T-Mobile, and I have out here. I have DTech, and my T-Mobile collects on to AIS when if I'm not around. But I have two phones. So one of them is my hotspot phone that gives me wireless connection on my primary phone, which makes T-Mobile free calling without having to worry about getting a bill. And for my phone, my uncle's phone, and again, the third one that I have is $125 a month for unlimited for all of us. So it's not bad.
Hey, thank you, Miki. Thanks for the. He says he really liked my when I was broke, overstay videos in Pattaya years ago. I want to kind of do something like that again, not in the overstay part, but the like travel real cheap, but maybe like in countries like Vietnam, but moving from place to place. You know, I could go through Thailand too and kind of vlog it. So I might do that after. But it's gotten hard to travel cheap around the world. Not like it was with inflation. It's gotten difficult. And maybe if the exchange rates are good, maybe I could pull something like that off. Travel from place to place.
Since COVID, things have definitely prices have gone up tremendously. I've got to think like things are up 30% overall for hotels, food out here. Things that are still the same as anything that's labor related. So massages, it used to be 200 baht or maybe now 250. When I was in Bangkok, most of the places that are doing massage for a 1 hour foot massage will want 300 to 350 now, where they used to be 200. And food, you used to be able to get, 20 years ago, I could get noodle soup for 20 baht, and now it's going to be 40 baht. Gasoline, 35 to 40 baht a liter for the 95 that I put in the car. And between 95 and 91 fuel, it's like a half a baht difference, but you get much better gas mileage on the 95 than you do on the 91.
Yeah. There's Thailand can still be pretty cheap to travel. There's Vietnam is really cheap. There's India is very cheap. But the world is not a great place to travel with all the events. Like you can't go to Russia, Ukraine. There's the billion Muslims around the world. They're not too happy with what's going on. If you went to like Egypt or even Turkey, you might not get the most warm reception. If you're American. So like, for example, I was in Delhi with another YouTuber. We were exploring Delhi, and like maybe a third of the city is Muslim. I actually went to the biggest mosque in all India, one of the biggest in the world from 600 years ago. We walked all through it, and it was full of Muslims and stuff. If I did that today, so I don't know. There's a lot of animosity in the world, so a lot of hostile, people fighting, and so the world has kind of changed the last couple of years, just in the last couple of years. That I don't know if you can travel around the world, or you don't want to, but
yeah, it's not the same. I remember my first time in Thailand. It was in 2002. And I was able to stay for 2 years for $15,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. I was living by the time within 3 months, I was living with my wife, and the rent on our house was, I think, 3,500 baht. It was something ridiculously cheap. But that was back when it was still over 40 baht on the dollar.
Yeah. So, that was when I first time I got to Thailand. It was like 40 baht to the dollar, but that moment didn't last long. It kind of dropped. From then on, 2005. But when I first got there, it was 40 baht to the dollar.
People are warning me about, don't worry about it. This is just Charlie and me on the panel. There isn't. That's why I haven't posted the StreamYard to anybody else. This was just him and I hanging out. I figured if this goes well, I'll do again and invite other people. So somebody in my chat was saying it's like watching the pool in Seoul where there's nothing going on for a while. It's like watching paint dry. And I'm like, I can do a video of paint drying because on the other side, on this side of the property, I've got my brother-in-law and his best friend painting the fence. We could actually just watch paint dry in a video.
What you did by emailing me the link, that's a good way to go. If you want to bring on another guest, you can just email them the link like that, and they can join the StreamYards. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to get with Jeremy and see if he wanted to come on and find out what his work schedule is like and see if something could be worked out.
Oh, that'd be awesome to see Jeremy. Yeah, I met Jeremy in Rayong.
A
long time ago. That was he seemed like a really cool guy.
I met Jeremy. It was the weirdest way I met him. I was watching Thai vloggers, and I'm watching this guy, and I'm like, this guy's an English teacher with that country accent. This is it's killing me watching him.
Yeah, he's got a North Carolina accent. But
Oh yeah, and it's a
yeah,
real strong
he,
Carolina accent.
he took me on his motorbike and found me a hotel and stuff. And yeah, he was a pretty chill guy.
And then I had sent him a message, and then that's when he told me that he lives in Rayong as well. And I'm like, well, shit, but why don't you come on over, meet me over here at the resort? We were still in the process of getting the resort open. He stayed in it when we weren't even advertised as being open. And that's when I got to meet him, and it's like, oh yeah, this guy's fun to hang out with. And then all kinds of dramas started up that he let me know about that I didn't even know about. There was a community of trolls, because at that time I was just more concerned if we were just building the resort, and I wasn't even thinking about like filming it or anything. I wish that then, when I can go back and think of like, man, if I'd been like Charlie, I could have vlogged building this house, which took almost a year to build when we were living in my sister-in-law's house, and just sit there every day watching them build something, because we only had like 3 or 4 guys at any one time ever working on it. So it was very slow to go. And that would have made for great content of somebody building a home. And I could have talked about the expenses of doing it every time, or same thing with doing the resort. But I wasn't staying at the resort or going there every day like my wife was, which she didn't want me over there because she knew I'd have an opinion about everything, which I do. And I would slow down the people. It's like, why aren't we doing it this way? Please explain to me why you're doing this, like I did when I built this house.
Are you? What are your future plans for YouTube? You plan on kind of using it as a hobby or getting into it a little more?
Hobby. Hobby. This is totally a hobby. It's like I have just got a lot of projects going on over here. So as soon as the pool is finished, we're building the deck, and so I'll vlog stream that, because I just find those kind of things interesting. And if anybody else is going to be building it, you want to ask like, well, how much it costs to do this, and I can tell somebody like, here's what it costs. And then we're building a bathroom outside, so people won't have to, if you have to go to the bathroom for the pool, nobody pees in the pool. There's it's going to be called the pool for a reason. There's no pee in it. It's the pool, not a pool. So instead of having to go in the house, there'll be a swimming pool outside to go to. They're painting the fence now. And then in the bathroom, and then in the third bedroom here in the house, the tile has popped up because the house has had some settling. So they're going to pull all the tile out, put new tile in. Then I've got some welding to be done. The fence to be built around after the deck is built, the fence to go around so the dogs don't go in the pool. So they'll be over here for like the next 3 months with this project. So I'm just vlogging the projects.
I got a quick question for you. Because you're pretty on the ball with everything, with these projects and stuff. A lot of people, like, let's say they get a house and they want to do a project, they get a Thai contractor. It seems like I heard they get overcharged. Like they see a foreigner, or even if they expect, like, let's say the wife's doing it and they just expect there's a foreigner in the house, they'll give them a lot higher quote. How do you try or manage to get the appropriate price for these projects from the Thai contractors? Is there a to it or a strategy?
Wow. I can't answer that with experience, because my contractor was my brother-in-law. Oh, okay. He was our general contractor. So so we got family rate for everything. And then when we had the driveway and fence put in, it was my neighbors who did it for us. So he's also a contractor, but he only does concrete work. And my wife knew him.
Fair price.
Yeah, so we always got fair, and because my brother-in-law knows the cost of everything, because he's been doing construction for 20 years, he knew if somebody was going to come in and give us a high bid for something. So when we had the well built, we had another my other brother-in-law got his friend who digs wells for a living to come out here. When we had the fiber put in, my brother-in-law does that for a living. So we only had to pay for the fiber wire and his staff, but he worked for everything else on the cheap for us.
Yeah,
so I have no experience about hiring outside of family.
Okay, yeah, for a lot of people, it's not just maybe at home, but like in business too. They need something done. They get 2-3 times the price, everything they charge. It's just, it's one of the aspects that makes kind of living and doing business in Thailand very difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is having a Thai partner who you trust is got to be the most, like for me, the wife.
That's a big part of it, because some people, they might have a Thai partner that they get a kickback or something. It's like, on the quote, they're even raising the price up more than, it's like, but yeah, in your case, you got everything working for you good,
Yeah, the
Plus,
one thing
maybe
I
if
would
you have a
recommend,
general. Go ahead. Yeah.
if you get a general contractor and you want to cut the prices, make sure that you go with them every time they buy things. So you're paying for it, and instead of them just giving you a bill for it, where they're going to do a markup of everything. You know, if it costs 100, they're charging you 125. So when you go and they go, we'll buy the cheapest of everything, and in terms of materials, the cheapest paint. So if you go with them, you can get better quality for what they would charge you for the cheap quality.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to be
Yeah.
in kind of plugged into the network. If you're not, even if you're very experienced, you speak good Thai, you have some understanding of the prices. It's very hard because there's like a code of secrecy among the Thais. So like for example, I'll give you an example. When I was coming off this island in Phuket, and there's me and these couple Americans and this Thai guy. The Thai guy was very nice, very awesome guy. And all the Americans were saying, we would like to stay in a hotel nearby that's cheap. The Thai guy wouldn't tell him there's right up the road. I stayed at the hotel. There was cheap hotels. There was like 3 of them, 4 of them. And so the Thai guy didn't say anything. Oh yeah, because he wanted him to stay at like an expensive resort.
He gets a kickback.
So then I said, there's a not even a kickback. It's like they're very selective with information. It's like a secret code.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to cut into another person's Thai business, a Thai person's business.
Yeah.
So,
now I'm familiar with that. You can't get a recommendation from a Thai person typically.
It's very hard. Even that guy was a cool guy, but like so I said, there's hotels right up here, and then he said, oh yeah, there was like suddenly you remembered, it's like I see a lot of that in Thailand, but I think that's just they're kind of looking out for other Thai people, and they don't want to like interfere with other person's business,
Yeah. You can't ask somebody, hey, can you recommend somebody unless, it's like their family member.
Yeah, you
You're
have
not
to
going
have
to get a
like
recommendation.
close family and friends and like a wife where it's then you really maybe get the prices, But even like if you have a lot of guys too, like they live in Thailand for years and they don't have a close Thai friend. They may have foreign friends, but they don't have a Thai friend they can really trust. So it's really hard for people to break into Thailand.
Yeah, I guess I'm lucky where the resort is all my wife's family, whether it's her brothers, her cousins, her aunts, that whole area where the resort is. Everybody around there is family members, 2 or 3 levels, second, third cousins.
Yeah, she has a massive family.
Yeah, right. Well, she's one of 13. Her father's one of one brother with 5 sisters, and her mother is one of 9 children. And so she's got a big family on both sides and tons of cousins, and I know all of them. And when we got married, my God, I mean, you've never seen so many people. I didn't even know there's many people in the village. And they just came out. Everybody came to the wedding because everybody knows my wife.
Yeah, I think the family.
Her mom is well loved.
If your girlfriend has to be a good person, your wife, but she kind of has to have a good family too, because I was dating a girl and her mom really liked me and her family liked me, so they considered me like a good influence on her. They didn't try to take advantage of me or they want me to do this or that. I felt like a really good feeling from her family. But there's absolutely can't be a side of that where they would let me stay at their places and stuff, and they didn't try to charge me money or have me buy. But the opposite is where you kind of look as a walking ATM. Some families, it's like they hit the jackpot.
I've never had a sick buffalo in my family. I've had some people who had a sick dog, a sick child, but I've never had the sick buffalo story.
Yeah. I've never that's like old legend maybe from the 80s or something. Like it still gets passed on in the bar talk, It's a euphemism at this point. The sick buffalo is just for any time some family member back home needs some money for something. Yeah.
And there are a lot of marks out there.
Used as an excuse, but it hasn't been used all the time.
I mean, there are a lot of people who have done with that. I don't have a lot of that experience because my wife knows how to say no right away, because she goes, your money is our money. And so if you're giving our money away, that means I don't have money. I'm like, exactly. You now see it. You see the big picture. But if the girl's whole thing is just to send money back to her family, and that's what you meet a girl who's just working the bar, working massage, that's what she's doing. She's there to make money to support her family.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, like the guy knows what he's getting into. And then the girl kind of, there's not like any, nobody's getting like the guy knows it's an arrangement. And nobody and he's spending
Yeah.
money home and gets to spend time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So my buddy Peter, he lives in Chiang Mai half the year and in Texas the other half. 69. He turned 69 this year. His wife is 43 or 44, and it's his third wife. And she became an American citizen, and he wants to retire here in Thailand. So they have a house in Chiang Mai they live in, and then they run the restaurant and out of Dallas the rest of the time. And so, and I was talking to him, it's like, yeah, all of his staff is either Thai or Mexican, and for an Italian restaurant. But he just doesn't. He doesn't want to live in Chiang Mai, but that's where her family's from.
yeah,
And he says, yeah, I've never, paid a dowry because she had never been married before, but it was a small dowry. And he said, I do either one thing, either I can pay her dowry or she can move to America, but we can't do both. And I'm like, there you go. But if you wanted to meet a good girl, a proper Thai woman, don't try to do it in a tourist area. Have somebody introduce you. I know a lot of really good Thai women. I met one from a buddy of mine. She works as a recruiter for people who looking for English teachers. She's making $150,000 a month.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, that's my problem. I've never lived anywhere other than Pattaya. Well, I lived up in the country with my girlfriend. That was the only time. I've traveled all over Thailand many times, but I haven't really lived anywhere other than that one village and then Pattaya. That's it. All my time I lived is in Pattaya, and Pattaya is just not a good place to meet a girlfriend. You can go to disco and date a little bit. But
part of the grinding noise, they're cutting PVC piping in the background there for the pump for the pool. That's what you're hearing. So he's just trimming out some PVC. Should be done in just another minute. I see he's got 1 or 2 pieces left to trim down, and he's done. Most people would use a pipe cutter to cut pipe, but here they use an angle grinder. Yeah, what's the Ride for Kicks? I forget his name. It's $1,000 a month for a house. 30,000 baht is a lot of money for a house still. And Patty, I mean,
Ride for Kicks, he's got for Pattaya. That's not expensive because
no.
Pattaya can be expensive. There's just not that many houses, so a nice house can be expensive.
Yeah, when I remember, what was your crazy guy's name? The one young kid who ran out of money out here, kept losing his wallet.
Oh, Chris Travels, yeah. Chris,
and when he was staying with that one guy in his the really nice house, Beefy's house, that was a nice place.
Yeah, but Beefy was probably paying like 80,000 about a month or something. So like there's nice places like that, but they're expensive. Like a real nice condo in Pattaya can cost like 40,000-50,000 about a month. Like a real nice 2-bedroom, But there's everything. There's cheap, and then there's same in Bangkok. There's all on the spectrum. If you want a cheap house in Pattaya, you have to go on the dark side, and it's going to be like a really rundown little townhouse, row house, like with bedrooms.
I know when we get outside of Thailand,
15,000.
We got out of Thailand. We were in someplace north, and it's just by a river. But it was a nice hotel, and it was still like 2,500 baht a night. And the hotel was totally empty. And I'm like, you guys are charging just too much money for what you think. And the problem was they did not change for COVID. They kept doing the same thing that he had been doing, charging the same amount and not adapting to make changes, realizing that the customers they had aren't coming back. They used to have a lot of foreigners stay there. It was a very Western style resort, but the Westerners weren't coming there and they did not bother changing. Even at our resort, we changed very quickly to become a Thai-centric resort because we knew the foreigners weren't going to be coming in our area again. So you change the amenities that are in the room. You find a way to put more people in the room. We bought cots so that the family, because they want to sleep instead of just a couple, they want to sleep 3-4 people in one room together, and they don't mind being cramped like that. I don't want to live that way, but Thai people like to travel in large groups and families.
How is your resort doing? It's mostly Thai customers, Thai people.
We get occasionally ones on the weekend, but it loses money every month right now. The land is valuable, so if I ever want to sell it, the land is picked up in value is still more than I'll ever lose on the resort, because we got the land really cheap because the people who sold it to us pawned it to us initially. So we paid under market value, And so we gave them 1 year to pay us back, loan them the money. They transferred into your name as a pawn. So we basically, the second mortgage on the house type of thing, where we became the bank, loaned them money. And if they didn't pay us back in the year, they had to forfeit the land, and we owned it, free and clear.
It's a beautiful resort. Is it listed online?
Thank you.
People can book it.
Yeah, you can. People, yeah. We don't let people book online because I got tired of paying the Agoda fees for it. You're paying 30% to Agoda, and then Agoda just has the ability just to lower their price on you at any moment, and you have no control over it. So you're renting it for we try to rent them for $1,300. They'll drop it down to $700, and then they want to take 200 of that. So you're left with 450 baht, which just basically covers the power, water, and laundry and the housekeeping. So you make nothing. You make no money on it. So we stopped listing it on there. Just have the phone number.
All the travelers are now like really plugged in just to use booking everything with these apps. But now when I travel, it seems like a lot of hotels, at least in Latin America, they're not listed online. You just have to find them in person, and you get a great deal.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Is that we found it made better. Just here's the phone number. Please call for availability. And the wife takes all the phone calls because they're all Thai, or people send message via line and book directly with her. Everybody pays with prompt pay. It works out great. JZR rooms aren't meant to be long-term rentals. They don't have the needed things for long-term. It's a hotel, not a long-term. You could stay there a couple, 3-4 days, but we don't have everything that somebody would need. It's not big enough. JZ was asking doing long-term. No, I mean, we may end up if we get this. We own two pieces of land. So we kind of look at it like this. So we own this piece of land as our resort. We own this piece of land that somebody pawned to us. And the middle piece, the guy wants to. We didn't own this one, so pretty much he's giving us the middle finger to get at that land. He wants to charge us twice as much because he knows we own the left and right side, and it's not valuable to anybody else because it's the land is shaped like a slice of pizza. So literally, it comes into it's like a triangle to a rounded up on the road. But if we get it, the piece looks like a pentagon, like Pentagon, 5-sided.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's kind of I've seen the area.
Yeah. So if we ever buy that piece of land, and he's asking 2 million baht for it right now, which is, we know it's not worth that. It would have been it, but he thinks the land is bigger than it really is. And we know the real size of it because he had to give up part of the land to build the road in front, and we own the left and right side of his property line. So I know exactly how much it really is. And he's delusional. And he always likes to brag about how much land he owns. He's one of the people who has money, but he doesn't have a lot of money, but he wants everybody to think he has a lot more than he does. So he's not doing bad, but he's not where he can just reach in his pocket and buy anything anytime he wants, Rich.
He says, Charlie, I want to rent 2 Thai-style apartments like I was living in. Spend the money to upgrade them with portable air conditioning and furnitures. Yeah, you can do that. Here's what I will say about that. Yeah, you can get like a place with 3,000 baht a month for rent. But you just want to make sure you stay in a month first before you do that. See who the neighbors are. Because I stayed in the one place in Pattaya, the building was full of Lima Bravos and stuff that lived in those rooms. And, maybe you don't want to live in that kind of building. So make sure you're good with the neighbors. That second place I stayed in last time, it was very quiet, very peaceful. And make sure you're good with the neighbors. Also, those rooms are very small. So like, you can't just get 2 of those rooms and combine them. They're separate. Even if they're right next to each other, you got to knock out the wall or something. So those rooms can be very small. It's a good idea. I thought about it doing it too. Just make sure you got a good landlord, you can trust, who's easy to work with. Make sure your neighbors are okay. And if I was going to do something like that, I would try to find a bigger room. Like sometimes you can find a big room. It's still like a fan room, but it's kind of has a lot of area. There are some of them that they're hard to find.
Yeah. Me, who's in the chat, is saying that 1,300 baht was steep for my resort. Well, you think might be steep, but get online and look at the hotels in our area, and you'll see that we are one of the lower priced ones. The hotels all around us are charging 15, 18, and higher. And ours is a very nice place, but we are not right on the ocean, and that's the difference. But if we were on the ocean, it would be even better.
Go ahead, brother. I didn't have a problem with the Limas. I'm just saying that I'm just using as an example, like make sure you're okay with your neighbors because, they're just small rooms and there's people living all around you. Like you might have real noisy neighbors, You know, I've been lucky living in buildings where like I didn't really have a problem with my neighbors, but I've heard stories where, you know, people are playing music all night out front, you know, in the driveway or something. And, you know, it's just one thing after another. So you're kind of rolling the dice in these apartment complexes. You don't know what you're going to get.
I'm looking at the swimming pool, and the one they told me it'll take 2 trucks to fill the pool. Well, the one truck came here, it put 1 foot of water in the pool. And I'm watching with the wind blowing, all the leaves falling into the water, telling me that I'm going to get a pool cover almost immediately because it's going to make a mess. I'll be out there every day cleaning the pool.
You know,
Sorry. I like watching them work.
A drinking town too, so it doesn't even have to be a cheap room. I've stayed in apartments that were nice, like 10,000 about a month, you know, aircon, and you got some crazy, you know, foreign neighbors. They're just yelling like 4 a.m, drunk, out of their minds, and you know, craziness going on. So you got to watch out for that in you know, Pattaya. But,
yeah, the one thing I would say that if you're ever thinking, what you're talking about renting is the same thing about buying. When we bought this land, we didn't even have a chance at it, looking at it ahead of time. We were still living in America, and my sister-in-law had called my wife and let us know that this land became available. It was super cheap at the time because the person was in a bind and they needed to sell it, and they needed to sell it right away. They couldn't take the time to list it, and they needed a cash buyer.
oh yeah, those are the best deals.
Yeah, that was the best way. Yeah, they would cash buyer. And so my sister came over, looked at it, emailed us pictures of it, showed us where it was on the map. And my wife's like, okay, and you know, figured if we don't use it, we can always turn around and sell it later and still make money off of it, just holding on to it for a couple of years. And when we came out here, I was like, no, this will be fine for building. It's nice and quiet, and which is what we wanted. And when I remember my first few nights living in the house, it was so quiet around here, comparing it to living in my sister-in-law's house, which was always noisy, or LA, which I'm used to having helicopters flying overhead or police sirens in the background. All I heard were crickets, bullfrogs in the background. And then the daytime, the birds, and it's just like, will those bullfrogs ever stop? All you're hearing is wah, 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 all night long. Now it's like music to my ears to listen to. I could never go back to living city life again.
Yeah, it's country living.
Country living. I grew up in the cities. I've always lived in a big city. So the idea of now living in the country for me is just so much more relaxing. But I always make the joke with his wife. It's like, yeah, it'll take me 10 minutes to get out of the house onto the main road, and then 10 minutes more just to get to anywhere else. All right. My wife is calling me. All right.
You want to end the stream or?
Yeah, I'm going to end the stream, guys. I'm going to talk to my wife.
All right. Nice talking with you, Ross. Have a good
All
one.
right. Talk to you guys.
Good luck on the pool. See you guys.